Welcome to the Ascend Men's Podcast. I'm your host for today. My name is Darlington. And once again, we're so glad that you men can tune in, men can come together and then discuss things that are relevant for men. Remember, the Ascend Men's Podcast is here, rising above limitations. And that is what we do in every single podcast of the Ascend Men's Podcast, because we want men that are watching right now to rise above their limitations. And today is no different. We're going to have a conversation that will hopefully will stir up men to rise above whatever limitations that they're going through right now. Wherever it is that you're watching us from, whether in Zambia or across the continent, this conversation is meant to spur you, to inspire you, and for you to rise above anything that you're facing as a man. We have an interesting guest today, and we're going to be talking around three core things as we have a conversation with our man that's here today. We're going to be talking about his personal life, his experiences in entrepreneurship, and just some nuggets that he can give to the men that are watching and the men that are here in our live audience. Of course, not to forget our men that are here in the live audience who are with us to the conversations. They'll also get an opportunity to ask questions to our guest today so we can all grow together, learn together as men. Before we go any further, I'll allow my co-host to introduce himself, and then our guest will also introduce himself right after my co-host.
Thank you very much, Darlington. My name is Simonza Steve. I'm part of the Posterity Solutions. Like my colleague has said, would like to encourage men to rise to their full potential. Thank you.
Absolutely. We have our guest. He introduce himself. He will tell us his name, and then before we go to the conversations, he will tell us what he does in his free time, what relaxes you when you're not working, when you're not doing anything per se. But first, you introduce yourself, and then you tell us what you do in your free time.
Well, thank you very much for hosting me. My name is Benjamin Katuvia. I'm of 4H. I'm sure you can see from my solar panel. But I'm of 4H. I'm married to one wife. I have 3 children. Of course, they are adult now. 2 girls, 1 boy. The boy is actually the one more or less like running the business currently. As I mentioned, the solar panel, the age is catching up with me. I'm trying to sit back. Yeah. So what I do during my spare time, mostly I love reading and walk around. I can't go to the gym anymore. You can see I've got 1 pack instead of 6 pack. So the 1 pack is an hindrance for me to do the 10 miles or the 5 miles or something like that. So usually my wife and I, we do take a walk Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Saturdays. We do about 6 kilometers. And sometimes we just go around shopping more just to browse or what good is there. And I'm a born-again Christian. I go to Potter's House Christian Faith in Livala. And most of the time, Wednesdays, that's why I skipped it for the walking issue. And Sundays and Saturdays in the afternoon, we usually go for visitation. We choose which member needs to be visited, or any person like yourself, we can visit you, talk to you about matters of spirituality and things like that. So I'm heavily involved in spiritual affairs with Potter's House. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for making it on the podcast today. We're so glad that you could make it. Remember, today's conversation is just meant, once again, to inspire the men that are watching. We'll be talking around our guest's journey, his entrepreneurship journey, his experience, and then nuggets that he can share. As he said, he's an elderly man, has lived, he's seen probably all the presidents of Zambia. But before we get any deeper with our conversation, I'd like to know, Mr. Benjamin, who was Benjamin growing up? What are some of the things that shaped who you are right now when you were growing up as a young man?
I would say many things, of course. Living in an environment where I would say it's a third class, in the compounds, combon, whatever. So there were many activities that I used to do, playing soccer, Ifimpombwa, and then at a young age, I used to even fix cars, 124, Fiat 124, 131. At the age of 13, I was already fixing cars. And also even driving at that age. No license, but I would drive at that age. Of course, I was mischievous here and there. I remember my father always on me, beating, really wanted me to study But of course, as I mentioned, I was coming from my third class area. Most often it's all about playing football and all manner of activities, yes.
Interesting. So, what some of the things that you were growing up? You said you were a mechanic. You started driving at an early age without a license. What are some of the things that inspired you to get into business as you were growing? What inspired you to sort of drive towards entrepreneurship as you were growing up? Were there some experiences?
Well, you see, from many angles of entrepreneurship, at times, one is found doing business or entrepreneurship because of maybe the family or the environment in which that person is found in. So my father was just a mere tailor, and then he didn't own a car, but our neighbor who was of Tanzanian origin had taxis. And from there, in my spare time, I would come out of primary school from knock-offs from school. I would join them fixing cars and also sunkamotoka, what and what, and I began to learn how to drive and also fixing cars. And when I went through secondary school, college, university, that is Copperbelt University, I found myself that when I graduated at the Copperbelt University, of course, that is the time President Chiluba came into power, 1991. Instead of industries employing, they were actually deploying, and you saw that through privatization. And I was caught up. Of course, I did apply for work at Dairy Produce Board, BP, Zambia, and Caltex. I wasn't picked. There was quietness, and of course I just didn't stay there and begin to worry about my situation. And with what I had, the miserable belonging that I had, I would say, a radio cassette, I was staying with my aunt in Vaughan Park. I sold that radio cassette Pioneer, and I raised about $300, and that's how I started my business, doing Tamanga, going into East Africa, going into Tanzania, buying spares, because of course I was brought in the environment of in that transport industry, so that was where my appetite was. So that's how I started my business, going to Dar es Salaam, buying spares for Land Rover 110, Peugeot, and then ended up segmenting myself, going into just specifically doing heavy duty parts like Leyland, DAF, and yeah. So that's how I found myself into doing business. Of course, there was an employment issue, and then the issue of simply having the passion of doing business. Because even when I was young, at primary school, I used to go to Industrial Area and Dollar, Mancha Sweets. I would buy sweets and go and sell them at primary school to my fellows. Even when I went at CBU, I noticed one thing: we were getting meal allowances, and I would go to the border there, DRC, and I would send some friends in apartheid South Africa. They would buy me nail polish necklaces for ladies. I would just come and hang them on them. Oh, get. When they get paid, I'm there with my book and collecting my money. So the issue of entrepreneurship has been in me since I was young. So even when I discovered that I couldn't get formal employment, I just did not sit there. I simply said, well, I'm going to do what I know better.
Interesting. So, any questions?
Yeah. So would you say that this has not getting a job per se was a blessing in disguise, or what?
Well, I would say yes. And I would say yes, it was a blessing in disguise. Sometimes when you have these setbacks, people tend to worry. But at times I would tell you that these are, some of these setbacks are just a way of opening up for you other opportunities. But of course, I would not advise anyone who doesn't find employment to venture into business entrepreneurship, because of course there are certain attributes, certain parameters that an entrepreneur needs to operate in and have. Otherwise, just because you don't have a job, does not necessarily mean that you qualify to be an entrepreneur. So I always want to discourage people that, well, because entrepreneurship or business is not for the faint-hearted. Business, I tell you, it's quite tough. For some of us, we ended up even going to hospitals in India, being opened up because of pressure here.
Curious though, on that point. So my friends and I usually sit down, I think as young men, we sit down and talk about entrepreneurs because I have friends who do different things. And we talk about, now I want to become an entrepreneur, You mentioned that entrepreneurship is not for everybody. What are some of those attributes that somebody needs to get into entrepreneurship in your opinion?
Well, I would say one thing, you must have a vision. It's not just about going into business just because somebody is rearing chicken or somebody is going to Dubai to buy and you just want to throw yourself and if somebody is making money. No, you need to have a vision. Starting with this venture and with this money, where am I going to be? Where am I going to take my business maybe in the next 2 years, 3 years? That's the vision and the passion for it. Because you see, I'm sure you, the audience here and the two of you guys here would agree with me that there are many that have started the journey into entrepreneurship or business. They've ended up chickening out or just coming out of business because of obstacles, challenges here and there. The reason why I say the business is not for the faint-hearted, it's actually for strong-hearted. Because with these challenges, if you don't have any passion, you will find yourself hopping from place to place. And the business requires focus. You need to stay in your lane. You're focused. You have started the business of making, say, flitters, be it that way. You are making 5,000 flitters in a day. To try and make sure that in the next 6 months you'll be making 10,000 flitters in a day, and you are scaling up. The next moment you have your own base where you can sell these flitters and people your own, as opposed to you face obstacles, challenges, setbacks, you want to quit and start something else. And I've seen a number of people over the 35 years that I've been in business. I've seen people that we started with business. They started maybe with hardware. Things become tough. In the next 3 years, 4 years, he's already now selling blankets, or he's gone into spare parts. He's gone into that. That way you're not gaining any traction, any meaningful traction. And as such, you cannot grow a business. So if you ask me, I've been in business for 35, doing the same thing. Apart from, of course, in 2011, we did diversify. We went into mining. But of course, there were other challenges here. One, we didn't have the skill set to run the mines, and the rapid growth of the business we couldn't handle. That's why we ended up quitting and went back into the same line of business that we started 35 years ago.
Interesting. Remember, we were watching the Ascend Men's podcast, and today we're talking about 3 things basically: life journeys, entrepreneurship, and how that our guests will give us nuggets as men. How do we rise above our limitations? Before going any further, I'll open it up to my guests. If there's any question that you want to ask so far, you're welcome to do so.
First of all, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm quite an ardent follower of you, so I'm here because I'm going to step into one of the lines of business that you do. Currently, I'm employed, not a bad job. So I guess my journey is a bit different from yours because I'm not coming from a place where I'm compounded to go into a business because I have, nothing more I am doing. But my question now is twofold. I know I'll face challenges. I'm actually trying to go in trucking business. And it's something that I don't know about. I'm doing my research now. And you talked about passion. That's something that I've had for a while about this business. So 2 questions. How do I make sure that I don't quit? I know I will face challenges. What would you say is the biggest tip about not quitting? And secondly, what are the differences in the dynamics between when you started business in your time and our current times? I mean, so much has changed. So I want to know the dynamics I should be aware of, because I've talked to a few entrepreneurs, and most of them, unfortunately, are much older than me. So Their time and mine are different. So I want to know what has changed, the dynamics, what I should be aware about, and so these are my two burning questions. I have a lot more, and I think I'll need the after podcast to say more. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, if I heard you correctly, you mentioned about you want to find out, of course, the nows and the past environment of doing business. Of course, a lot of change. You remember, I'm sure you're aware, through your civics, Zambia, when it was born, 1964, we immediately switched to socialism or communism. Communism was basically sharing of miseries. Yeah, it doesn't help individuals to apply their abilities. Yeah, I remember in those days, you have money, the government want to know how much money and where you got it from. You are doing business well, the government want to control, and so it simply curtails the individuals' ability, initiative to grow. So capitalism is the only way of doing things. Of course, 1991, things ended. We went into free market economy. With the coming of President Chiluba, there was privatization because Chiluba simply said that the government has no business in making brains. We had super of them. Most of the industries were privatized. But of course, you also realize that even when they were privatized, Zambians bought industries. They could not run them because they had no idea of running business. They are coming from socialism. That's why most of those companies ran down. Now, then and today, technology has also evolved. We are now using AI. So just about a month ago, somebody was teaching me how to use AI. I kept on AI. What is it? So I began to, and even Googled using AI, and it brought all my profile about me and said, wow, this is interesting. So you see, technology then was inferior. Today there's a technology, most of the things are being run using technology. People are working from home and things like that. So you as an entrepreneur, you need to capture these aspects of technology involvement. Without using technology, modern technology business, it may be difficult for you to run your business today. Even the advertisement that are there now, it's on social media. Times of Zambia have lost business, or Daily Mail has lost business through those prints that we used to advertise. So a number of change with the technology. So that's why in management, we call change management. So as the moment you identify, you identify any change, you also move with time that way. And because you see, technology also changes the way people perceive things and the way people consume things, and the needs and their wants changes. So if you understand that, you will flow with them. Now, you mentioned about researching what you want to do, so meaning that you are currently not in business. Yeah, so I would ask you one question. What are you doing currently? What's your profession?
I'm actually in reinsurance.
Insurance?
Yeah, reinsurance.
Insurance, yeah. So to me, if you asked me, I would advise you to go into insurance spec. Yeah, open up an insurance broker, or if you can get a full license for insurance, then go into that. Because that's where your interest is. I don't know how long you've been into insurance. So don't start and go do something else that you have not done before. Because if you do that, chances are that you're going to quit. Because I would simply say that I can see they have no interest in what you are going into. Apart from what you have been doing since you left college or university. So that's your area. There's always, I see people I would say, kicked off, should I say sacked from work. They begin to lament, whatever. Just if you're an accountant, form up a company and begin to do books of accounts with the small firms, because they can't go to PwC, they can't go to BDO. They would want to have at least somebody who can understand them. I'll give you 5,000 at the end of it, because BDO or PwC will charge me 150,000 for 7 hours work. So if you are in insurance, of course in Zambia, very few people have appetite for insurance. But at the same time, as you go into that space, begin to make would-be consumers or consumer understand the importance of insurance, of insuring their goods. So that's my advice on the same. Yeah.
He also asked about resilience, right? Like if he gets into entrepreneurship, how does he still maintain his passion?
Resilience is important. And I can tell you one, resilience is about when you fall, you come back to the same position. It's like you are bending a tree and then you come back to the same position. That's resilience. Now, that resilience is not just a nice terminology to incite people, to motivate people. It begins with what I talked about, not quitting, or passion. Passion is a very key word in the whole equation of entrepreneurship. Once you have passion, I tell you, you do heaven, you climb mountains just to attain your goals. So it's like water flowing into on the ground, and then there's a rock. It doesn't stop there, isn't it? It will find your weaker spots and move. So it's the same thing with the, once you have the passion, I tell you, you won't quit. As I mentioned, my interest has always been in the auto industry, and I've been doing this for 35 years. Yeah, and I would even say much more than that, even when I was still young. And I've never thought of looking back. Yes, I've had several challenges, such that at one time I'm thinking of selling off the business and starting something else. Of course, the period between 2017 and it was bad. We lost quite a lot of money. I mean, big money. But I've never quit. One of that sentimental value for my business, and they have made sure that my children inherit the business and they run it up. That's why my son is there. He was in the USA. He simply said, Daddy, I'm coming back to Zambia to help you. And he's been around with them. The girls have remained in the USA. I'm with him here for the last 4 or 5 years now. He's been with us here. So resilience is very, very important. It goes with not quitting. Quitting is for faint-hearted people. And in this life, there's always challenges. Even Jesus himself said, in this world you have challenges, but I've come to bring peace. So if you're going to think that every life is smooth sailing, that's not true.
All right, that was a great question. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your insightful feedback to that question. I believe we have another question from the audience as well.
My name is Christian.
Thank you so much for the presentation. So my question is that because I found you speaking, and one of the things that you mentioned, I think I could relate it with myself, because back then in high school also I would do business here and there. Then when I got done with my grade 12, I was made to go and study clinical medicine. So I finished, but unfortunately the jobs were not available. So now I also started a small business, because I had started business 11 years ago, this small business. Till now I still have a shop, one of the shops that I'm running in the Copper Belt. But how did you face, my question now is that, how did you face criticism? Because now the people, my father made me do clinical medicine, and he wants to have that prestige to say my son works in the hospital, and that's not what I would want for myself. But how did you face criticism when you are venturing into the business? Because me, I've been running the business, but he wants that thing of being called, I have a son that works for the hospital. Yes, then another one is that you mentioned of not venturing into another thing besides what you've studied. But how then do you diversify in a case where you want, I'll give an example of Twalumba Resort. Twalumba is dealing with, they have lodges, they have a school, so we speak of diversification. So now, how do you now then reach at a point where you can diversify? Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you very much. I think what your question at one point is actually talking about perception of people. That's, I think, where we go wrong, because we want to appease everyone. We've even seen it from social media today. He has 5,000 likes, has 40,000 likes. What is it now? What impact are you giving out to people there? Are you getting any satisfaction in that? So the truth of the matter is that, yes, I faced criticism. I used to be, some of my friends actually got good jobs, good salespeople, salesmen, driving my van, what and what. They would say, that guy in Bemba will say, things like that. But of course, I knew what I stood for, and I didn't look at what they were saying. And I can tell you, one of them was actually in the forefront. I gave him a job. Yeah, childhood friend, school friend, and I gave him a job. He was a senior person in the company. So it's not about what people are talking about out there, but what impact you can, positive impact that you can throw to your community where you are serving as a businessman out there, and the satisfaction that you derive in what you are doing. So it should be about you and the community that you are serving. It's not about waiting for people to applaud for you and, oh, you have done this or no. I think they will mislead you, because they might applaud you and then you begin to try and work hard beyond your own ability and you fail, and you will fail miserably. So that's my point. And secondly, what was the other question?
Diversification.
Okay, diversification is very key. I didn't say that we diversified into a mine, and we pumped in quite a lot of money, assisted by American government, that Exim Bank USA. They bought us mining equipment, and from our own resources we bought quite a lot. But of course, the environment was not conducive for us. The contract was terminated. Up to now, we're still in court for the last 10 years. And then we didn't have the expertise, running. It was all about picking this one, that we know, okay, go and run the mine. Mining it requires a serious expertise to run it.
Yeah.
So, and then again, there was that rapid growth in our company. Now, these are some of the mistakes that people make, because you have money, you feel that you can diversify. But there are certain things that you need to look at before diversification. But diversification in itself is very good. One, never keep all your eggs in one basket. In case one business, even the Bible encourages that, you invest in many business so that you can reap in all these. In case one fails, you can reap from the other side.
True.
So diversification is very, very important. But especially that in Zambia, we've got so many opportunities. That's why you see all these Chinese coming in, Lebanese, whatever, they are coming in. We are complaining because the opportunities are many. So if you have made money, you have satisfied your market in that line, you can diversify. But make sure that as you are diversifying, you put certain things in place. One, separate management. And this should be skilled management to run the other side of diversification. Diversification is all about, of course, risk management, and also trying to take advantage of opportunities in the market. Yeah, so that's why you hear of Kazuma, what and what. And if you go to Kazuma, there are different management. But in our case, when we diversified into transport, heavy duty haulage, and also mining, we didn't have, we didn't differentiate the core business and this. We just said, oh, you from this department, go and run that, go and run that. Those are the mistakes that we made. And on that one, I've even written a book titled The Entrepreneur's Blind Spot. Right now it's on Kindle. It has been running for 1 year plus. That's now I'm trying to put it into a paperback. I just wanted to have some few dollars on Amazon Kindle. So now I'm publishing them. Yeah, I'm an author. I've written 4 books. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Thank you very much. Did a question come?
Yeah, I was going to ask that you mentioned about resilience. Maybe for the benefit of putting in perspective, would you have one incident that you would be able to share with us where you would be able that demonstrates how business can hit you hard and you were able to.
I tell you, there have been so many incidences in the 35 years that I've been in business. They've been, even when I started, I think the first year, I lost almost 75% of my goods. I went to India, the first time in India in 1996. I got goods, we sold them quite okay. Went back, I think in December. That trip didn't go well because by then we would go with Tazara to Tanzania and board the Air Tanzania to go into India. So we didn't have direct flights as it is today. So the goods were so they would come that way from India into Dar es Salaam, and then you put them on Tazara. So it took about 30 days for the goods to arrive in Dar es Salaam. I got frustrated, I left. I assigned one agent to clear them for me and put them on Tazara. When they arrived in Zambia, 75% of the goods were stolen. That was a blow. I tell you, I cried what and what. And I went to a post office. By then, we didn't have cell phones. I phoned the Indian guy. This is what I, but then he had also loaned me goods worth $4,000. And then I told him, he says, how much can you realize from what is remaining there? I told him, I said, I'll come back. So I went back, and with the little that I had, and he gave me some more goods on credit. Yeah, so this is, of course, something to do with the integrity. So that's how it is. So there are so many, and I can tell you, as I mentioned, we are in court. We almost lost quite a lot, millions of dollars, not kwacha, millions of dollars. I'm not going to mention it. And I was deep in credits. Americans, not even $1. They will tell you, taxpayers' money, pay, and they are bombarding you every time. And this time, whether you're in the bathroom, the phone will get you. So yeah, so individual suppliers will begin to move money from this venture, trying to pay suppliers, what and what. So it was a problem. It was a problem. So, but at the same time, I remained resolute to make sure that I'll continue marching on. Yeah, there were setbacks. There were other suppliers. There were other suppliers that came and helped us. Helped us to simply say, okay, how much do you need? We can loan you this, one and one. And that's how we began to rebuild. But of course, even up to today, we have not liquidated most of those debts. But at the same time, business is going on, and going on well. We still got 5 branches more, and we are doing well, but not extremely well.
Awesome. I'm curious to know, what are some of the habits, because we talk about business a lot, not just in business, but in life as men. What are some of the principles that have kept you in business and just sustained you generally in life? I was going to ask about marriage specifically. Well, you can touch on that as well.
Yeah, for information, as I mentioned, I said I'm married. I've been married for 31 years. This is the 32nd year. And my business, when we look at the name BUK, actually our name is Benjamin Upendo Katuvia. Upendo is a Swahili name. My wife actually originates from East Africa. When I started business, that's when I found a flower and picked it from it, brought it into Zambia duty free. So I've been running my business with my wife. My wife is actually director of operations. She's a co-founder. The two of us are co-founders. Yeah, so we've run our business well. One on principles of partnership. And the partnership requires putting things in writing. Don't assume just because it's your spouse. We put things in writing. There are things that to follow. I get a salary. I don't just draw anyhow. I don't just do it. She would just simply say, no. Bring it to management. They will gather the management to begin to discuss what I think these guys would. I think I side with Madam. Madam, she's right. You are defeated. So that's how we run our business. We put things in writing, instead of us being husband and wife, and we follow the rules. Yes.
Here's a question from.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mtwalo. Self-employed since 2022, and just like you with your wife, I've also started a business with my wife, my young wife. And slowly but surely we are growing. I would like to know what were some of the strategies you've put in place to grow your network? The people that you have surrounded yourself with. What are some of the things that you did or you're still doing to grow your network? As I say, the network is your net worth. I would just want to know some of the things that you've done, some of the things that you're doing to continue growing, because I can see that you're a man who has not reached his comfort zone. You are still learning and growing, and that's very encouraging. The hurdles that you're facing, the faith in your voice, it's very encouraging. And I believe that God will break through for you to clear all your debt and continue growing your business. But I would like to know how you are growing your network.
My network. If I heard you correctly, and I think I would answer it in the aspect of having satisfied customers. That's my network, because I bring in goods, heavy duty parts. My clientele are mostly transporters, these truckers that you see around, and also the mines. So we make sure that our customers are satisfied in terms of delivery, time of delivery, pricing, and also quality. In the case of a product that has some quality issues, we take back and whatever. So we also have networks where we invite them yearly. We are starting in April. Yearly we go in all the cities that we operate from. Have luncheons, have cocktail parties, we discuss, we get feedbacks, and yes, I've got a team of expertise that are helping me, the marketing managers, salespeople that go in the field, and so we make sure that our network is growing. But of course, network again is through publicity. We use all any means of medium that is there to reach out to our customers. Social media, we're there, LinkedIn, we're Facebook, LinkedIn, and we also do a lot of promotional materials, overalls, giving them just all sorts of things just to make sure that we are growing. So whenever you go, whether you are going into Choma, whether you're going into Mongo, you mention our name, we are there. We have plans there, and we're always reaching out to them. Sometimes we just, we haven't seen you for a while. What has been happening? The customer will explain to you, no, my trucks have been down, I don't have money. Okay, we will loan you these parts, pay in 30 days or pay within 60 days. Yeah, that's how we grow our network.
Maybe.
My question is on the faith aspect. Faith aspect. Faith, yeah. The Bible says that we should grow according to the level of our faith. So how did you balance the growth of your business and the level of your faith? Then also, how did you balance work, family, and your spiritual life?
Interesting. That's good.
Well, I'm not going to twist the scriptures, but the truth of the matter is that God has given us, each one of us, abilities, different abilities. When you look at from the parable of talent, one was given 5, one was given 2, the other one 1. So these 2, the one with 5 and 2, they used them appropriately. The other one simply said he was scared. This is one thing I think I would want to mention, that fear can block your destiny. Even the Bible talks about fear not, 365 times. Meaning that every day God is reminding us about not to fear. So apply yourself out there. And I know God has given me ability, and I've been faithful in many things, and that's why God grows my business. Yes, I've faced challenges, and those challenges, when I look, in fact, 3 days on Friday, our finance manager was asking me about many issues that in the past, and do you regret? I said, no, I don't regret. Those were learnings. Those were, I learned quite a lot. And because I responded appropriately, not reacted, I responded appropriately. That's why today I can stand and be able to teach a lot of people, mentor a lot of people. You can imagine if I reacted out of emotion, I wouldn't even be able to stand before people and whatever. But my faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. I'm always in church, as I mentioned. There are many teachings that come my way, and that has grown my faith to do the right thing, the will of God, to do the will of God, and to please God. Of course, I need to be peace with everyone, but of course, in this world you have manipulators, you have gaslighters, but if you understand the nature of a human being, human nature, you would appreciate all these things. You would appreciate setbacks, you would appreciate betrayal, you would appreciate a number of setbacks that you face. You understand human nature, you appreciate it. And for me, I don't hit back. My faith is sufficient to actually overcome all this, to enable me to overcome most of the challenges. What do I do? Mostly I'm with my wife. My husband of one wife, 31 plus, and most of the time I'm with them. In fact, I want to take it to another level where I've seen a number of things that are happening in our country, especially among men. They are all in these universities, playing around with young ones. You find he's got a tummy there. He's going, hey, baby, baby, only a young child. And you will find men are dying in hotels or lodges because they've drank. What is all this? I think I've just developed that to say, well, let me share my experience. I've been faithful, loyal to my wife. Let me share and because of what God says about the commandments, adultery, fornication, I simply said, well, I'm going to begin another chapter, not just talking about entrepreneurship. The book, I've also written one book on faith, that is When God Seems at a Distance. That's the title of the book. That book came as a result. 2016 to 2019 had serious financial challenges. We are talking of millions of dollars to be paid. So everyone is calling you one and one. And you would go somewhere, even creditors even advising you, okay, blah, blah, blah. So so I ended up writing a book to try and encourage someone out there. Don't go blow your brains. Just face God, ask God for forgiveness. If it's a problem that came as a result of your own sin, go and repent before God. If it's a problem that God has brought upon you, like in Job, simply obey. Then you flow.
He also asked about how you balance family, work, family.
The guys are grown. The guys are grown. I don't even. My last born, she's 22. She's studying medicine in the USA. My firstborn daughter, she is deputy vice president at Citibank Dallas. And then my son is the one that is running the business here. When you look at my house, it's big, it's huge. So sometimes we just say, why did we build this thing? And we are even regretting. The whole house, we were only the three of us, me and my wife, and the maid. So it's so huge. Some other people have suggested, no, move to a small. I said, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying put here. But of course, if you ask me, why don't you bring in relatives? That is another subject.
That's another story.
Okay, there's a question there. You can take it.
Thank you so much. My name is John Chimba. I think I first came across you. I was operating right in front of your building there. Kacha kantemba kali pasogolo kacha. Pameni pa BOK. Kafiwe Road.
Oh, okay.
So I was within that Kantemba kacha. That was in 2013. So someone started telling me now about that building, about the owner of that building. The next time I heard about you, you were doing something with Mr. Mikadile. You were teaching people how to raise funding. So I saw the advert, but I had no capacity to come and attend that event.
That's a big problem. You need to. You could have come. Simply be brave. I think we need. Guys, I don't have money. You are not going to lose anything.
Interesting.
Yes. So actually, I've been following you for some time, especially your togetherness with Mr. Mikaria. That's why I've been requested in the group to say I would love you people to come, the two of you. Yes. So now, my specific question for today. I think let me be specific, because if I'm to ask questions, there will be many. From your older brother who found me at Pakantemba Paja, he was telling me to say, Mwinawai company is my young brother. I don't know, how is he? That one we'll talk about it maybe at a private event. Okay, so my main question for today is, I'm running a business, I think similar to what you are talking about, which is we are getting things on credit. Okay? That one, again, I want to put it aside. The question I want to specify, because of posterity solution, they say iron sharpens iron. I would love someone like you, who is a successful entrepreneur, who can be close to me and who can advise me to say, look, what you are doing, you can progress. I think in the US it is working very well. Like, I've followed the story of Mark Zuckerberg. When he started Facebook, Bill Gates was very near to help him to say, you can progress, you can do this, you even put some funding. But I think in our setup, it is not much there. That's why I liked it when I heard from Posterity Solution, they are saying iron sharpens iron. I was like, I think I can find one iron on that side who can sharpen that iron in me.
That's good.
Can you be available in that regard to sharpen the iron in me? Because I feel you are an iron. Thank you so much.
I can tell you one thing. The problem that we have in Zambia regarding mentorship is that, of course, there are very few that want to come out do mentorship. I've mentored a lot of people, thousands of them. I've never charged anybody. Even when I published my first book, there were 3,000 of them. 2,000 went to just giving, especially the young ones. I want to see the young ones grow into business, because to me, I believe in one thing, like Kaunda told us, or Bemba says that imiti kula empanga. So I want to see that the young ones in the next 10 years or so, they are running businesses in Zambia. So, but I've observed one thing. This issue, spirit of being timid, you don't want to come out. You just approach, just go and write, put here the secretary, I want to, I'm requesting that I meet you, what and what. Or if you find a number, my number is actually on, I believe it's on social media, because I receive some calls anyhow. And for any information, every Saturday I have a group of people that I talk to. If I'm not at Kekte or any other, they come to my home. Because in the morning by 8:30, I'm involved in FDE, Faith-Driven Entrepreneurs. This is a group of business people. We talk about how to run our business successfully and God's way. Because many people think that the Bible has nothing to do with business. But I tell you, the Bible has everything to do with business. So we look at the aspect of the Bible and how we can apply in our business. So up to about 9:30, then by 10 hours, 10:30, I have visitors knocking, coming, and we sit. We talk, advise them what and what. It's not for me to begin to look around and what and no. Mind you, although I'm old, my wife also needs me, and I need to be with her. Mostly Saturdays, Sundays we are always busy the whole day. So you come up and say, well, I'm having challenges in this area. What's your advice? Simple as that. I'll be free of charge. I will not charge you. Yeah.
Interesting. That's awesome. Good to know. Because we are running out of time, I'll ask my co-host to ask the last question, which is a nugget, and then we'll end from there. The last question goes.
Well, I think you pretty much answered it. Where faith comes in running a business. That's what I had, and he's pretty much covered it. So,
awesome.
Yep.
So before we close, thank you very much for the audience for making it today. Before we close, I'd like to ask our guest, if you could speak to the next generation in a sentence, what would you say to them? I'd like to stay into the camera. We know the young men that are watching right now, that have known you, follow you. What would you say to the next generation?
Yeah, the next generation, what I can say is simply that know God. Let God be at the center of all your activities. The Bible in Matthew chapter 6, verse 33 talks about putting God first. In what undertakings, put him first. Because you see, God has given us human wisdom, and that is human wisdom, and there's also divine wisdom. Without God's involvement, we will fail. We will fail to interpret. Look at Solomon. He didn't ask for wealth. He simply asked for wisdom, and he began to grow. Secondly, I would want to tell you that you need to believe in yourself. Belief is very, very important. Don't think that business is a preserve of a white man or an Indian or a Lebanese or somebody from Asia out there. Business is for everyone. God has given us a beautiful land, Zambia, with so many resources. There's so much more that you can do. Believe that it can be done. One time I went to USA attending Exim Bank annual conference, and the first time I saw, 2011 I think, that's the first time I saw Elon Musk, and I believe it was a sister. And when I heard that they are making this stuff that go into space, I was just saying, wow, what kind of brain is this? But of course, a human being, they just believed that they can make it. And of course, you know, Elon Musk is actually one of the richest guy and has made a number of things. Believe in yourself that it can be done. This world that we live in is malleable. It's all dependent on you. If you can believe that this can be done, it can be done. And in fact, just that belief is more or less like saying 100%, 70% success on your part. And fear not. Fear not. Many people have not achieved much in Zambia because of fear. They feel that, no, if I start this and then it doesn't work out, they will be laughing at me, they will be what and what. This in public opinion thing is going to ruin you, it is going to kill you. Fear not. Fail. I, for one, as I've mentioned here before, I've had so many setbacks before. So, in essence, I'm saying I've failed before, but I keep on marching. When once, that's the thing. Fear not, and make sure that you don't quit. Just because you have these adults, what and what, just try to find ways of navigating around and ask yourself, what have I learned in the past failures, what and what, and then begin to build on the same. Reason why I put things in the book. I'm a mentor. I want to help other people that are coming behind me to see that, yes, it has been done. If you look at many businesses in the world, great business in the world, they will tell you that they failed before, they had challenges before. So forget about this public opinion. To me, if somebody came and told me he has failed 9 times or 20 times, I would tell you that's my man. And like somebody who just coming in for the very first time hasn't done anything. Mostly you find these are clinging to the terraces and condemn, or like the football, soccer fans. But you throw him in the game, you can't even pick a ball. So fear not, and make sure that you be a man of character. Integrity is very, very important. It's not the image. Image can be bought, but character is permanent. And this character doesn't come once. How do you treat people? How do you treat your community? And again, when you enter into a business, or you are into any sphere of business, if it's not bringing any peace, peace, then know that there's a problem, because business must bring satisfaction and peace. Yes, there will be the setbacks, but there will be that inner peace. That, no, next time I'm going to do it right. But usually, when it doesn't bring peace, it means that you are doing something wrong. You're stealing from people. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, you can't even advertise yourself because you know you hit left, right, and center. So, yeah, have that vision. When you are starting, know that it takes time for a business to grow. BUK started in 1997. We are 29 years now. But of course, I've been in business for 35 years. And see where I am now. Of course, I would have been far much better than now. But all the same, don't take me wrong, I'm still backstabbed. And what I'm saying is that it takes time for business to mature. If you are going into business expecting it to grow within 12 months, to make billions in 12 months or 2 years, there's something wrong there. You're stealing either from the government or you're stealing from the people. Business takes time. talk about any business in the world there that you are big, they've taken time for them to grow. So if you are going into business hoping to make money within 12 months, your heart is not right. You are insincere. So be patient, and at the same time, start small. Where you begin to wait to say, well, until I have 5 million in my account, then that's when I'll start business. Okay, wait, technology is changing, people's perception, likes or wants are, by the time you are trying to execute your business, the people have moved on. They have different tastes. So start small. Like I mentioned, I keep on telling people that I started with $300, not to embarrass myself, but to tell them that see where I'm coming from. Even you, start small where you are. You begin to build. You are seated there. After 12 months, you come, oh, okay, I started with $300. Now I'm at $400. You get satisfaction and you are moving on. So business is not for a day. I think that's what I have for today. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Give me a round of applause, everybody. Thank you. Thank you once again for making it through. Thank you for your wisdom, for sharing your knowledge and experience. And thank you very much to our guests also for making it. We know it's such an easy task to make it on a Sunday specifically. But this has been the Ascend Men's podcast. Once again, the podcast is solely for the purpose of men so that we can raise above our limitations through this conversation. Again, mentorship does not end here. When the conversation ends, it goes far beyond behind the cameras. So the men in our audience are welcome to connect with our mentors, get in touch. And the mentors are there to pour into us as men to rise above our limitations, both in family, work, and our careers, and our faith. The mentors are here to help us rise beyond our limitations. I've been Darlington, your host, and
Steve, thank you very much.
Awesome.